Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to part 10 of Yakuza Kiwami. And we inadvertently ran into this bum on the street while trying to get stuff. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
This bum is part of a side quest. And I don't have the means for that. So I will have to eventually get a code from a different side quest to give to him. I think he's part of the same side quest, I'm pretty sure. But whatever the case, ladies and gentlemen. No, wait, I think this bum is part of a different side quest. But eventually I'll get to him. Or go around, to getting him a code. Because I do get sidetracked all the way up until, like, part 13. Because there are other things that happen on the way there. But he is part of a side quest, and I think it has something to do with that restaurant that was mentioned in part 8. But for now, we've got another Taihei Boulevard locker key. I still gotta find that place. I don't remember where it was. Anyway, we are going down Champion District, and sure enough, I need some health right now because I ran into Majima.
No.
Because Majima is everywhere, and we need to beat his ass. Because again, Dragon form definitely needs you to beat Majima almost every single time. Well, just about every single time. Unfortunately, we are not dealing with Majima in his slugger form nor his breaker form. His breaker form hasn't shown up just yet, and that can be a very tough form to deal with. But you will need for the various forms a Kiwami to finish him off. Like, for instance, if he's going in his blue form, which is his thug form, you're gonna have to use Brawler to finish him off. If he's going into Slugger, you're gonna have to use Beast to finish him off. And if he goes into Breaker, you're gonna have to use Rush to finish him off. He goes into Mad Dog of Shimano, which is going to be later on once you're in a higher rank. You're going to have to use the Dragon of Dojima to finish him off. That's pretty much the gist of that. And we have a... Oh wait, no. We still have that text message from Nishida we got to deal with. But we haven't even opened up Shine yet, so we'll worry about that later. But for now, we have ran into yet another sub-story. This time, it's a sub-story where this guy does palm readings. And if you probably haven't guessed the track record of most of these sub-stories, then yeah, it's a scam. Funny thing though, this scammer actually shows up later on in another game. No, seriously, he does. It is, if I'm not mistaken, like a dragon. He's one of the employees you can actually hire in Ichiban Confections. But he's a random one, at least. But not everyone shows up as an employee you can hire in Ichiban Confections. Still, they do make callbacks to the various 6 games. That is one thing I can give Yakuza Like a Dragon. Oh my god. If I ever get my hands on Yakuza Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, there is one clip in particular that I am going to be using throughout the playthrough of that game. If I ever get my hands on it, because it sounds like a good game and it looks like a good game. I haven't played it yet, but I have played Infinite Wealth, and Yeah. Oh, by the way, accept him to actually do the reading. But after that, there'll come some optional choices. Reject every single choice that he had after the first one. Because here's the thing. If you accept him, he'll bring you to a restaurant. But if you accept every other choice that he has, or one of the three choices, he will make off with your money and pretty much screw you over. Oh, and if you don't have the money, they're just going to send you on your merry way. This sub-story in Yakuza Original, they will legitly end the sub-story by taking your money. At least Kiwami gives you a chance to get your money back. So yeah, you might want to reject every offer that they give you. This is the same as Yakuza Original. And speaking of Yakuza Original, one thing that is a huge difference from Yakuza Kiwami, that is until they actually remaster that for the Switch 2, is that Yakuza Kiwami is solely Japanese. Yakuza Original Majima is voiced by Mark Hamill. Needless to say, there are certain scenes in Yakuza that you just cannot unhear Mark Hamill's voice. Just saying, even though Matthew Mercer permanently took the role of Majima in Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Nani?
He does a good job, I'll give him that. But, again, Mark Hamill, he's the freaking Joker! That just needs to be said. Oh, right! And this fat fuck is also in Ichiban Confections. I think he is a random employee, too. But the thing is, they are the palm reading scammers. And they are scamming the hell out of people. Moreover, their scam gives you a worthless stone. Oh, this sounds oh so familiar. How familiar we're talking? Well, how should we put that? Yeah, do not buy that stone. If anybody has played Persona 5, you will know that that's a scam. By the way, I have Persona 5 Royal on my channel. And Porky Pig over here, this fat fuck, is trying to coax you into buying an absurdly expensive, probably rock of salt. And that's the last thing you need. This is literally a reference to that miracle drink. But that guy right there, that fatso, is going to call some guys to come after you.
This fat son of a bitch, he's fat!
No matter how many times I see that clip, that shit's funny as hell. Moreover, because of the fact that I saw Samoa Joe in the trailer of Like a Dragon Yakuza, Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, that's what I meant to say. That's the first thing that came to mind was his feud with Scott Steiner. That's the main thing that came to mind. But nonetheless, folks, that fat son of a bitch that was in the restaurant called these dudes to jump me because I wouldn't accept their shitty merchandise. And these guys are not hard at all. So instead of actually dealing with us himself, he called his boys to get the smoke. So this lets you know that this was a scam, and if I was using Beast, I would have probably picked that bike up by now. But that's okay. I could just use Rush to take care of these guys. No biggie.
Good.
And there's the fatso right there. He was waiting to see if Kiryu was going to get beaten, and it turns out that's not the case. He literally called his boys on the wrong ex-Yakuza. needless to say, he scared Fatty here so much that he got $5,000 and he even sold his friend out. And just as soon as I got out of a fight, I'm back into one. So I'm facing off against Thug Majima again. Only this time, well actually no, nothing's changed. We're still in F. We are still in F. But it's alright. I'm gonna have to change styles though. That's the thing. Oh shit. We gotta change styles. There we go. Might as well just land some hits here. And moreover, knock him straight to... Oh god, he wouldn't let me. He wouldn't let me grab him because I'm not in full heated mode. That's okay. We're just gonna land the beating on Majima. But here's the thing. Majima everywhere happens every time. Ah, there we go. We got the Kiwami, folks. It's over. Boom! So, or climax finisher, whichever one comes first, doesn't matter. We just beat up Majima yet again. And we got up to rank F. So all we need to do is just beat Majima about 6 more times, but we managed to get Thug Majima out of the way. Oh, and by the way, I should mention, Nishida also makes an appearance in Yakuza Kiwami 2. He makes a physical appearance, not, well, a phone appearance. Oh, right. And we're gonna go on ahead and pick up this card. And that'll bring us to our next sub-story. And it is a sub-story involving Mezuking. Now, remember folks, we were picking up videotapes and we were picking up cards of scantily clad ladies all over Kamurocho and Yakuza 0 and giving them the Mr. Libido. For Kiryu, it was just a added challenge. For Majima, it was the only way to get Indomitable Habu drinks, which is probably the best drink in the game. Here, this is actually us collecting cards of scantily clad women, because this actually leads to a series of sub-stories, and I'll do admit, while the arena is so much better and will net you a lot of money, yeah, you're basically going to be missing the arena. It's still like that, but you're not going to get the money aspect of it. You're going to get items from this. And it is a collectathon, and finishing up the last side story requires you to get a lot of cards from Mezuking, specifically all 30. So if you see them, they will actually appear as red dots with butterflies on the screen. That's the only way you'll be able to see them. I don't know if we have I don't remember actually. Remember, that's the best one, because I've already beaten this game. I don't remember if there is a skill to find them all that you could get from Bob, but at the same time, I'll end up running into them because one of them is right in Club Sega. And once we start the quest, you'll actually have a 4-card start. So you'll just have to find the remaining 25. Whatever the case. Achoo, sorry about that. I had something in my nose. I hate when that happens. It was like a fly literally flew up my goddamn nose right there. God, I hate it when that happens. But Majima just got finished sending his goon to tell you that he's going to be hiding in plain sight in the cone. He would normally hide around Smileburger, but before I could get there, this guy's sub-story had to be finished. Because that's the scammer that was going to try to take all of your money for a useless stone. I still have a very big hang up with Chiaya's confidant rank in Persona 5 Royal. Nah, seriously. The fact that you don't get 100,000 yen back until you're almost finished with the damn confidant rank. But then again, another good confidant rank did that too, and that was Tanaka's confidant rank in Persona 3. And I'm only talking about this because this guy is easy. He's literally a chump. Well, Tanaka doesn't give you your money back. He does literally take about 40,000 yen from you. Compared to 100,000 yen, sorry, it's not that bad. So you get 30,000 yen for beating this guy up and a life stone. A worthless life stone, but a life stone nonetheless. Still, we have other things to do today, so yeah, we'll be dealing with other side stories. Now that I stop and think about it, let's go pay Club Sega a visit, shall we? And after dawdling around, we're gonna go and pay Club Sega a visit, because there are 2 sub-stories. Okay, let me rephrase that. There are 5 sub-stories here, one of which you have to collect all the Mezuking cards. The other, actually there's more than 5, there's like 8 sub-stories here in Club Sega alone. And you basically can come in and deal with Mezuking. Also, I should mention, ladies and gentlemen, they have the arcades making a triumphant return, and one of the challenges on the completion list is getting to a certain point in the arcade games that are there. And they do have Virtual Fighter 2 and hopefully Virtual On, because I love Virtual On. That game is fun. That is a very underrated arcade. Plain and simple. I mean, it was probably called something else in Japan, but that game is very underrated and it's fun. Speaking of underrated games, Mezuking is literally beetle fighting. And there is a literal game where you play as literal beetles, and the beetles will actually fight against each other. And whoever wins, well, that beetle will go on to the next round. I think it's a very old game in Sega, but they switched the beetles with scantily clad women wearing beetle helmets. So, yeah, Kiryu was wondering, like, what the hell is this? So, this ends the first part of that sub-story. The second part of the sub-story is actually practicing Mezuking with the Mezuking professor. And yeah, like I said, it is just like the arena in Yakuza 0. You're just gonna miss the money aspect. Because, folks, this is years after Majima caused the inflation in Yakuza 0. But it's going to cost you 100 yen to play Mezuking. So if you don't have 100 yen, don't bother doing this side quest. You'll still get the money to do it, but not as much money as you get in Yakuza 0. Because, goddamn, you could get a lot of money in Yakuza 0. Majima just had to cause the inflation, and the money is now less. Y'all think I'm kidding? That was a literal side story in Yakuza 0 where you actually ask a mayor actually asks you the type of taxes that he could put on certain items, and he would eventually be a person that would cause the inflation. And somebody tried to whoop his ass. I mean, that'd be the one time that letting the punks beat that guy up would have been a good idea. But still, Majima did inadvertently cause the inflation. But yes, this is Mezuking. It's basically rock, paper, and scissors with scantily clad women. So, the strategy is simple. whatever is the best, whatever is the best hand sides use. Sometimes they'll switch it up. This is basically a tutorial. If they pick rock, you can, if they pick rock, you pick paper. They pick scissors, you pick rock. They pick paper, you pick scissors. That's how you win this. But I don't know if I'm gonna be age restricted. I hope not. God, I hope not. Oh, we won this. We won. This is just the gist of Mezuking. It's pretty easy, but you still need the cards. Because the type of maneuvers that you use will most likely end a Mezuking battle really quick. And you face off against kids. But originally, again, it wasn't it wasn't scantily clad women in beetle helmets. It was legitimately beetles facing each other because beetle wrestling was a popular sport in Japan and also in China as well. No, actually, no. Cricket wrestling was China. Beetle wrestling was Japan. And they normally bet money on beetle wrestling. But they made a video game out of beetle wrestling. And it's a very old one. And by the way, you have to deal with that at least 3 more times in order to get Mezuking Professor's side quest done. Because you had 4 more times, sorry. It's 3 more battles. And then you had to get all 30 Mezuking cards to face off against the Professor one last time. And I think you do face off against Majima in Mezuking. So yeah, it would be in your best interest to collect all the cards, because you never know what Majima would come up with. After all, Majima is literally everywhere. And now, we have to go to the, I'm trying to think of it. We have to go to the crane machine and get a lot of items. Well, one item at least. Honestly, to finish off this sub-story, just get the crane items for the items that are available there, and then for the first 2 parts of these sub-stories, just get all the crane items there. I only got one of these items because at the time I had to go to work. But to finish this side story off, you have to visit the crane at least 3 times. There's 3 separate crane stories. For this one, you have to get the that particular bird right there, which is the white doll. And next one, you have to get all the axitals that are on the other side. And then the final one, there was one particular one you needed to get as well. And afterward, well, you have to come in and come out every time. But if you got all of the dolls needed for this side quest, it would be easy to deal with. But before we go anywhere, again, the Mezuking cards will, if you're in the general vicinity of them, they'll flash red with a butterfly. That's how you know they're there. But you have to get the doll first in order for you to get to the Mezuking card that's in the vicinity. So, with that said, we got our doll for this guy. And he is willing to pay you money to get it. And you want to do this sub-story. You do. There is a reason for this. And that reason is, he gives you the Swiss watch. Ironically enough, the Swiss watch is the most expensive item in the game, one of them at least, since Yakuza 0 no longer has ruby and sapphire plates. And the highest you could go is a platinum plate. So, on that note, we gave him the doll, and we just had to go back and get the actual toy for him later on, and we'll do that later on, but not this part. I'm done here, and I think I might have to go to work, so let's cut it short right here. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you all in the next episode of Yakuza Kiwami 0. Or Kiwami. Why did I call it Kiwami 0? Well, it's just going to be more weird shit in Kamurocho as we continue Kiryo's Hood Chronicles. Peace out, guys.